Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, Libras, let's take a look at what's on their minds. Here we go. We have Magician, we have Four of Cups, and we have the Four of Pentacles. So, Magician is Virgo Gemini. This is somebody who wants to make their life turn out different than it has been. This is somebody who's got a lot of feelings of regrets over the past, missed opportunities. And I say the past because we've got, ancient pottery here. And we also have with that Four of Pentacles, somebody who's clearly felt like they have, just now reached a point where something they've been holding back from has now like frothed and bubbled to the surface of their mind. Lovers. Okay. I would say this is somebody lost in some nostalgia right now. What's on their mind is there's that country song. I wish I had that one back. Tower. Okay. This is somebody who may actually be crying. They may be crying over Libra. Four of Wands, crying over the relationship lost or the relationship not built. This could be somebody who had wanted to marry Libra. Then did you marry Libra and it fell apart, or did you never marry Libra? Six of Swords. It's a little bit like their life stopped progressing because there was always that awareness that but Libra is the person that I still was supposed to be with. It feels like they were on the precipice of making a long-term commitment with Libra, and then something happened and they didn't. And yet instead of genuinely moving on from it, we have everywhere they go, they bring the baggage, and the baggage is Libra. It's the memory of Libra. It's a memory that Libra is the one I was supposed to be with. This is somebody who still believed that Libra was always supposed to be their person. Libra is, in this case, it is their greatest love. Always has been. So you can move on, you can move forward in life, but wherever you go, there you are. The baggage that you bring with you, and I'm sorry, this sounds rude. I'm not referring to Libra as baggage per se, but Libra is their baggage because Libra is the person that they didn't end up moving toward, even if they tried to move on. We have a Queen of Wands. Give me one more on this. Four of Swords. Right now, it's causing a real problem because they perhaps have met somebody that is absolutely lovely, beautiful, talented, amazing. And honestly, all they think about is Libra. If they met somebody else, it's oh my God, I don't really want to pursue anything with anybody else though, because I still have Libra on my mind. Maybe this is the best thing that could have happened if they, have parted ways with Libra, but then acted like they were moving on. Maybe what highlights to them the fact that they have not moved on at all is the fact that they met somebody new. Maybe they would have been able to fool themselves into thinking, oh yeah, that's totally in my past, only to discover it's not. We literally just got the Six of Cups, which is a soulmate that I want to return to, and that High Priestess, a bond that has never been severed. Their connection to Libra is very much still intact. Almost like they are just now realizing I never actually believed that I wouldn't end up with Libra. Even if I said, oh yeah, it's done, we've moved on from each other. I meet somebody else and I'm supposed to want this person. They're great, they're super sexy, they're all these things. And you know what? I don't even want to talk to them because I never believed that I wouldn't still end up with Libra. And I didn't realize that that's genuinely, it's basically this person married Libra in their heart a long time ago, and that still exists. That bond was not broken. It was not dissolved. Three of Cups. And it is if they choose to keep trying to move forward without Libra, Libra will always be the other person. Libra is always going to be the other man or woman for them. And it'll show up in every relationship they try to get into. There's never going to be a time where they don't have Libra still the person that they're actually in love with and married to in here. They're not going to be able to move on. And they're realizing this. Libra will permanently be the person I'm still in love with. And that will show up in every relationship if I try to ignore this. So what are they going to do about it? We have a Seven of Pentacles. We have the Magician. Honestly, the fact that they've thought about this already for such a huge amount of time, and it's been in their mind and it's been percolating, it feels like they're just now coming to this big realization that they should do something about this, letting this memory of Libra sit in their soul. But all this time having pretended that, oh yeah, it's over. So, we're just going separate directions and, just moving on. And this is finally the evidence that I never moved on at all, did I? Which means I now actually have to take charge of the fact that I never even wanted to move on from Libra. I'm not sure why it took them this long to sort this bit out, but that is the way the storyline is panning out. So we're at the mercy of how the cards fall, right? We have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Page of Wands. We have the King of Pentacles. Their plan at this point is to simply say, but I want to offer something to Libra. Always did. And I still want to do that. In fact, maybe more now so than ever. Six of Pentacles. I would like to give equally. And that's where my desire is. And this is the person I want to come in as. It's almost like they're changing before our very eyes in this. They are shifting into like almost imagining the life that they would live with Libra, what they would offer. Now they could be possibly, since we've got the energy here of Magician, that could be Virgo, Gemini. We also had some more Virgo and then possibly Pisces, Cancer coming off of the High Priestess. We also had Gemini coming off of the Lovers card. And, this is the second time we've actually seen the Magician. So we keep doubling down on Virgo and Gemini. And now we bring in some Taurus and Capricorn in addition to Virgo. So air and earth seems to be the strongest, but we do have some water also possibly for them. Queen of Pentacles. They want a very tangible, very earthly connection with Libra. Always did, always will. And they're just surrendering to it. And they're just at the point where it's like, then I just want to open up and say, I just want to be with Libra. There. That's the truth. I just want to be with Libra. I don't want to fight it. I don't want to hide it. I've acknowledged it to myself. So now I simply want to say that I want to openly manifest this. Can I ask, universe, is that too late? Or is that the perfect timing for them to have this big realization? We have got a Four of Pentacles sideways, Queen of Wands in the reverse. The Fool and the Two of Wands. I want a few more cards before I say anything because I'm getting pulled in two directions. Page of Swords, King of Wands, Nine of Cups. Here's where it maybe is too late. If they had already tried to go toward somebody that was clearly a karmic, or if one of the reasons they thought they could let go of Libra was because of a karmic, it may be too late in the game for them to now say, wait a minute, I was in love with Libra. What the heck was I doing walking away from Libra? If they returned to a karmic or never fully let go of a karmic, like this could be a way more complicated storyline, okay? Let me put it this way. Because I just have to go with what I see on all of this. And it is murky, but what's shrieking in my head for this character right now is that this is somebody who either believed that they would never be free of a karmic that predated them meeting Libra. So let's say this is, even if it was an ex, but an ex that they're like, yes, even though I'm divorced, I pay them this money and they make their problems my problems still, and it's their life is still very much interwoven into mine. So even if I should be single, even if I should be able to just be with Libra, the truth of it is so much of my money, my finances, and everything, and even time is still tangled up with a karmic ex. So even though I meet this amazing Libra and I'm in love with Libra, but because so much of my energy is still, I'm going to say, welded to a karmic ex, that could have been where all of this confusion came from. Like, I want to be with Libra. I love Libra. I feel like I'm supposed to be married to Libra. But then I can only think with a portion of my brain because so much of the rest of my brain is still welded to a karmic ex. It's almost like this person was unable to make a clear, decisive observation and then act on it clearly and decisively because a big chunk of their life and energy was like already spoken for. Like, they already were living a reality where their world was dominated by a karmic ex. And, if you are dominated by some other connection and instead it's just fantasy land, that someday I might break free and be with Libra, if I could just someday break free, but I really am not able to imagine doing that. Well, or let me put it this way, all I can do is imagine what that would be like, but I don't really see me doing it. That's what they were, I think, living like for a very long time. So they ultimately let go of Libra and said, I guess we're just not meant to be, when they were always meant to be with Libra, but they weren't seeing themselves as genuinely single because they weren't actually, their energy wasn't single. They needed to have cut off ties with their karmic completely. Again, within reason, right? Let's say they owed somebody alimony. Let's say they shared kids together, although we don't really see kids. But let's just say, there's many, many reasons that a character would still absolutely have ties with somebody from their past. And those aren't ties that you cut, right? You'd have responsibilities and all those things. Absolutely. But I'm saying for the energetic component, they needed to cut the energy with a karmic so that they could make a true decision about their relationship with Libra. And that was the thing they were unable to do. So instead, spying on Libra or trying to imagine their life with Libra was the thing that was sustaining them, but it was all more like imaginary. It was their happy place that their mind would go. But their reality was still, they didn't break away from an ex to be with Libra. No one have like the regret of the past because they sat and didn't make a change when they knew, but I love Libra. I want to be with Libra. All I would have to do is truly break away from some component of, being welded to my karmic ex. I definitely will say it is a karmic that they were stuck with, meaning it was a person that they had a lesson to learn with. And maybe their lesson was to detach so they could fully give all of their attention to Libra when they knew that they loved Libra. That was never in question. There was never a question about them loving Libra. But it's like after they said, well, I guess I just got to let go of Libra. And maybe I even am supposed to reconnect with an ex, but I just can't do it. I just can't because I know that Libra is out there. That would almost represent that Libra is the person who's been the key that freed them from their shackles. Even though at first it looks the reverse, like, wow, they stayed instead of picking Libra. And it's kind of like, oh, that's not good. That's not fair to Libra. On the other hand, if we think of Libra as being the key that unlocks them finally, and they just didn't even realize until they met Libra that, of course, I don't want to get back with an ex. Of course, I don't want to be shackled to an ex. I want a different life, not just in fantasy land. I want the real deal. And that's what it looks like. That seems to be where their mind is at with this, because they come up with this magician twice. Like, I'm going to make the change. I'm going to be with Libra. I'm not going to stay where I've been miserable. We have the moon. What does that mean? Are they making this plan to be free? Because we go from the dog to the wolf. Are they making the plan to be free? Yes, they are. 6 of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. I feel like they're going to be formally ending things, announcing to an ex that I'm actually moving on. I'm not part of this anymore. I don't think that they're going to say, because I'm moving toward Libra and I fell in love with Libra and I know that's who I want to start my life over with. I just feel like they are finally at that point where they're like, I couldn't possibly stay. We have the 5 of Swords. They fully expect some kind of a battle, some kind of a fight as they move away. but I don't think it matters anymore. I feel like somebody might guess that they're in love with Libra. There's that Lover's card again. Whomever they're moving away from, that karmic may be angry and say, "Oh, so you're picking the other person." But the thing is, it doesn't look like they were in a relationship exactly. They were already, like I say, welded to somebody does not mean it's a relationship. It could have been, a scenario of convenience or money. We have a King of Cups. Look, all I can say is in this storyline, their response to that karmic is simply going to be, I am actually exiting stage left. And when the karmic says, "Oh, so you're going to go be with some, that Libra, that other lover," I think they're just going to respond with, "I'm just listening to, my actual heart. And you know what? I'm not actually a king of wands. I wasn't supposed to be a king of wands. I was playing the wrong role in my life." And I think this is all from their perspective, bear in mind. We have that 5 of wands. I don't think they have a better way to describe this. I think that's the most accurate realization, that they were playing the wrong role in their own life, being somebody that they weren't. They were always supposed to be Libra's partner, and they know that now. Again, I don't see them explaining that bit to the ex. I only see them being able to say it to themselves at this point. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Libras, I will see you. I might be able to get you guys a bonus one tomorrow also. All right, take care. Bye for the moment.